I do not think I have ever seen a male protagonist quite like this before. Facing the outbreak of the zombie apocalypse, some individuals may be terrified, while others may be incredibly courageous and find a way to survive. When the male protagonist of this anime is pursued by a large number of zombies, he believes he no longer needs to work. Why is working even more terrifying than zombies for him? Let's start from his experiences a few years ago. The male protagonist of this anime is Akira, a 22-year-old graduate. He has embarked on a new journey by becoming a member of a production company. Seeing his colleagues warmly welcome him, he feels optimistic about his decision to join this company. Filled with confidence, he is determined to put in his best efforts and contribute wholeheartedly to his new workplace. While going to his office cubicle, he meets a manager from the accounting department. Her cute face makes Akira's heart race instantly, and he secretly falls for her at first sight. After she leaves, Akira still doesn't come to his senses. Now he feels more and more that he really came to the right company after a busy day's work. His colleagues hold a welcome banquet for Akira, who is affected by their enthusiasm and announces that he will work hard. When Akira is about to go home, after the banquet, his colleagues' words shock him. It is time to go back to the company before Akira can react. He is taken back to the company and begins working overnight with his colleagues. To his surprise, working overtime is not a rare occurrence, and he will be working overtime after today. Akira continues to work the next day and then has to work all night. It isn't until the third day that he has the opportunity to go home and rest. Working under great pressure makes him very tired. After all this, he doesn't want to go to work anymore. But when he thinks of the cute female manager, Akira plucks up the courage to continue working, comforting himself that as long as he gets used to it, everything will be fine. He doesn't realize what disaster this decision will bring him. It turns out that the company Akira works for is an unscrupulous company. Throughout the year, the employees are granted a mere fraction of time off, totaling less than 2 days. Moreover, they are often scolded and mentally controlled by the company. Consequently, the employees have fallen into a disturbing mindset, believing that those without physical problems are not exemplary workers, and that the more illnesses they suffer from, the harder they work. Akira continues to work in such an environment, and the only thing that keeps him going is the lovely Sari Otori. But one day his last hope vanishes. When he is working overtime, he accidentally hears the voice of Otori from the CEO's office, and only then does he realize that Otori is the CEO's mistress. From this day on, Akira's only motivation for working hard disappears, and he does not know how to survive these days. Everything here is putting pressure on him, such as work pressure and a scolding, as well as mind control from his superiors. He even thinks about ending his life and going to another world. He hates going to work, but he doesn't really want to give it up. Perhaps in his mind, he still hopes he can interact with the Otori. 3 years have passed like this. His world has lost its color, and he feels his life is gloomy. Just before he completely collapses, an accident changes his life. The next day when he goes to work, he finds an unpaid fee for his bike space. So he takes the reminder letter to find the building manager to pay. But when he arrives, he is shocked to see the building manager eating a woman's body and his terrifying face. As soon as Akira comes into view, the building manager swiftly approaches him. Reacting on instinct, Akira runs away, only to discover a horde of monsters emerging on the streets nearby. As he frantically races to elude the onslaught from these monsters, he realizes that these people might have transformed into legendary zombies. Instead of feeling scared, he feels very excited. If the world is really invaded by zombies, it means that he will never have to go to work again. From this moment on, his originally gloomy world is revived and colorful. In his opinion, going to work is much more terrifying than facing zombies. He runs all the way to avoid the attack of zombies, but he is very happy in his heart. The world without going to work is really beautiful. After temporarily avoiding the zombie army, he lies on the ground and imagines a better world in the future. He still has a lot to do, and he will slowly achieve what he wants to do. At this moment, Otori appears in his mind. Even though she has become someone else's mistress, Akira decides to tell her what he thinks about her. If he doesn't confess his true thoughts to her, he will definitely regret it. So Akira risks being eaten by zombies and comes to the door of Otori's house only to find that the door is unlocked. When he pushes the door open, he finds the CEO who has been infected by zombies. Akira builds up the courage to announce to the terrifying CEO in front of him that he wants to rediscover his original self. So he decides to quit his job today. After that, he bursts out with great power and pushes the CEO out the window. And the CEO explodes like fireworks in a nearby open space, completely ending his evil life. At this moment, Akira's attention is drawn to Saori Otori in the next room. Seeing Saori Otori undergo a gradual transformation, Akira unleashes the emotions he has accumulated for 3 years, loudly confessing to her that he has had a crush on her since his first day at the company. Just as the words leave his lips, Saori Otori completes her transition into a zombie and chases after Akira. While fleeing, Akira thinks in his mind, "Goodbye, my love." At night, Akira finally figures something out. After a day of fleeing, whether he has 1 day left in his life or 60 years, he has only a very short time to accomplish what he wants to do. So he makes a decision. He first finds a store to replenish supplies, and then takes out a notebook that contains his 100 goals to accomplish before he becomes a zombie. Akira then starts his plan. He first cleans the room that he hasn't cleaned for 3 years, which is very rare for him because he didn't have enough rest time and had to work overtime. Every day for 3 years after cleaning the room, he drinks a whole bottle of cold beer, and this cool feeling makes him lament that life without going to work was really good. At first, he intends to spend the whole day at home today drinking beer and watching TV. But then he finds that there is no beer at home. He looks at the zombies downstairs and thinks about life without beer. In the end, he decides to go to the nearby convenience store to get some beer. Compared to the bad life without beer, the danger of fighting zombies is no big deal. With the hallway of the building now swarming with zombies, he's left with no choice but to climb down from the sewer pipe. During this time, he unexpectedly encounters a neighbor downstairs who is one of the few survivors. After learning of Akira's intention to go to the convenience store, the neighbor earnestly requests Akira's assistance in getting necessities. Akira quickly dodges the zombies on a bicycle and finally comes to a nearby convenience store. What he doesn't expect is that there is a beautiful girl here who is also collecting supplies. The girl is so good looking that Akira is immediately attracted to her, thinking that it is not easy to meet a living person in this apocalypse. Akira, after collecting beer, offers to exchange contact information with the girl, hoping to become friends with her. The girl glances at the beer in Akira's hand and then says with some contempt, "In such a dangerous world, you even risk your life coming here for these things, and I have no interest in making friends with someone who can't even assess the risk." Akira doesn't understand Mikazuki, and he finds that a group of zombies has entered the convenience store. To protect Mikazuki, he stands in front of her. The next moment, Shizuka Mikazuki grabs Akira and falls backward, at which point a runaway truck directly knocks all the zombies away. Mikazuki sits on Akira, and this wonderful feeling makes Akira completely stunned. After Akira comes back to his senses, he only sees Mikazuki riding her bike and leaving. He can't help but lament that this is a beautiful girl and hopes they can see again. He plans to head back home with the acquired beer. Unfortunately, his bicycle has been destroyed due to the recent encounter with the truck. Luckily, given the zombie outbreak, there are numerous abandoned vehicles on the street. Soon, he spots a sleek motorcycle and comes back home. He climbs on the sewer pipe again, wanting to extend an invitation for a beer to his neighbor. However, upon reaching the neighbor's residence, he's greeted by a scene of chaos, leading him to realize that the neighbor who had greeted him earlier may have been killed by zombies. This makes him a little down, and he thinks something might happen to him one day. After returning home and drinking several bottles of beer, he takes out the notebook. After thinking for a while, he writes down many things that he wants to do, such as going back to the countryside to live with his parents, having a party with his friends, and going out on a date with the girl he likes. So far, he has written 33 things that he wants to do. What Akira doesn't know is that somewhere in the city, Shizuka Mikazuki is also thinking like him about what to do after the zombie apocalypse strikes. Unlike Akira, Mikazuki writes about what she needs to do to survive this zombie crisis. She is the girl that Akira met today at the convenience store. And since the zombie apocalypse, Mikazuki is not in fear like the others. She wakes up at 6 o'clock every day to exercise, and in order to survive in this dangerous world, she insists on physical training to maintain good physical strength, watching a lot of zombie movies every day, and studying the characteristics of zombies. If she goes out to replenish supplies, she will also choose a safe route to avoid encountering zombies. Today, when she entered the convenience store to collect supplies, she deliberately set up a camera at the door to observe the movement of nearby zombies. The food that she bought is also some very healthy foods. When she first met Akira, who came to collect beer, she thought he was an idiot. But when Akira stood in front of her to protect her, she flipped. Remembering Akira's joyful expression as he gathered the beer, she starts reflecting on her choices to maintain her fitness. Mikazuki didn't even take her favorite sugar cake. Mikazuki begins to reconsider whether she is too strict with herself because the sugar cake is just a snack. Now 5 days have passed since the zombie apocalypse, Akira suddenly finds that his phone can connect to the internet, and it seems that the Japanese government is currently working hard to solve the zombie crisis. Suddenly one of his friends comes to mind, Kenichiro, who is his best friend from college. The last time they saw each other was at a bar. At that time, Akira was complaining to Kenichiro that the company he was working for was crazy and that he was very tired under the pressure of working overtime every day. But Kenichiro was showing off that he had a good career in his company and had a very beautiful girlfriend. Seeing Akira complaining about his company, Kenichiro directly suggested that Akira quit his job. Noticing Kenichiro was very happy, Akira thought he wasn't sympathetic to him and had an argument with him. Thinking of this, Akira feels very guilty. If he had listened to Kenichiro, he might not have had such a miserable life. Later, he plucks up the courage to call Kenichiro. To his surprise, the phone is connected. However, Kenichiro is now at a bad situation. A few days ago, he and his girlfriend went to a love hotel, and that's when the zombie apocalypse struck. Now he is trapped in the hotel room, and his girlfriend has turned into a zombie. Luckily, she was tied in the room by him with the tool in the room, but now he can't get out of the room. At first, Kenichiro was desperate, but to his surprise, Akira told him that he was going to find him now. Originally, Kenichiro was hopeless because there were so many zombies in the hotel. Unexpectedly, Akira makes it based on what he has learned in the past few days. He knows a weakness of zombies, that is, zombies will be attracted by sound. Akira arrives near the hotel on a motorcycle and then ties a car horn with a rugby ball and sticky tape so that it can make a loud noise, attracting the surrounding zombies. But the abandoned car quickly explodes due to the zombie siege. Akira takes advantage of this to sneak into Kenichiro's hotel. Kenichiro doesn't expect that Akira would really come. And more surprisingly, Akira bows his head and apologizes to him as soon as he sees him. At that time, Akira lost his temper because he was jealous of Kenichiro's happiness. And now he thinks that he should have followed Kenichiro's advice to quit his old job. That's why he seriously apologizes to Kenichiro. Before Kenichiro can answer, the zombies come. Akira quickly escapes with Kenichiro to the rooftop of the hotel, where they finally close the door at the last minute. After looking at the distance between the rooftops of two neighboring buildings, Akira thinks they might be able to jump over. But Kenichiro thinks it is crazy and they will be dead if they fail. Seeing that the door of the rooftop is about to be knocked open by zombies, Akira runs a few miles before jumping and actually jumps to the rooftop of the neighboring building. Just like how Kenichiro suggested him quitting his job at that time, Akira encourages Kenichiro to take this important step and bravely jump. Seeing Akira so brave, Kenichiro recalls his fake life at that time. He was working at a real estate firm. He had to disguise himself every day and close house deals by cheating his customers. In fact, he lived a very unhappy life, and what he wanted to do just now was to apologize to Akira. Previously, in order to show off, he pretended to live a good life. Kenichiro doesn't know if he can jump over like Akira, so he speaks out about his dream when his life probably comes to an end. He always wants to be a comedian who makes others happy. After listening to Kenichiro, Akira told Kenichiro the same thing he told him before. That is, quit the job now and live the life he wants from today. Kenichiro feels Akira's sincerity and finally plucks up the courage. At the last moment, when the zombies are about to break the roof gate, he accelerates and jumps towards the rooftop of the neighboring building. However, he jumps so close that he almost falls off the rooftop. But Akira reaches out and pulls him up at the last moment. They finally survived this crisis. After that, Kenichiro moves into Akira's house. Since Kenichiro needs to please his customers, he has learned many skills, one of which is cooking. What he cooks fills Akira's stomach, and Kenichiro tells him that cooking is something that men have to learn. The reason why Akira doesn't have a girlfriend is that he has few skills. His words are heard by Akira, who then vows to have a girlfriend to prove him wrong after eating. Kenichiro sees the notebook in which Akira lists 100 must-do things, and he discovers that there is a goal on it to associate with flight attendants. And in the current situation, he is afraid that it will never be achieved. However, he does not laugh at Akira, and instead writes down his goal in the notebook, which is to become a comedian. Now that he has written down his goal, the things in this notebook will also become a dream that Kenichiro and I need to achieve together. At Akira's suggestion, they intend to complete one of the goals in the notebook today. That is, to play games together on an 80-inch screen TV. They don't have such a large screen, so they decide to go to a nearby mall to get one. On Akira's way off with Kenichiro, Akira curiously asks Kenichiro why he wants to be a comedian. Kenichiro tells Akira that he grew up watching funny shows more than others, and being a comedian is a dream he has aspired to fulfill since he was a child. Before they can continue their talk, they encounter a big problem. The way to the mall is blocked, and what's worse, a fuel tanker is rushing towards them. There is a driver who has turned into a zombie in the tanker, and Akira makes a bold decision. He accelerates towards a convex rock in front of him, and just like a stuntman, he drives the motorcycle at a high speed and flies into the sky to avoid the obstacles. To avoid the explosion from behind, Akira rushes to an underground mall. There are many zombies here, and they can only temporarily hide in one of the shops. When they are safe, they find that there are 4 other survivors, 3 of whom are particularly good-looking girls. Although these people are very scared, they are now luckily at an underground mall where there is a lot of food, and they don't need to worry about being hungry. So they decide to wait here for the time being for the government to rescue them. To ease their fear, they sit together, drinking and talking, didn't introduce themselves one by one. To Akira's and Kenichiru's surprise, these 3 girls are flight attendants. In the morning, Kenichiru still said that it was impossible to associate with flight attendants, but right now they are sitting and chatting together, similar to social events. Akira is very excited and he remembers his goal of having a girlfriend, but he is not good at socializing at all, and what he says does not interest the girls at all. While Kenichiru quickly wins the favor of the girls, it doesn't take him a long time to hook up with one of the flight attendants. Akira doesn't want to give up just like that, and in order to attract the girls' attention, he begins to drink with his nostrils. Because of Akira's funny performance, things are livened up, and Kenichiru also takes off his clothes to perform a funny dance. With their efforts, they are less afraid. It is a pity that Akira drinks too much and gets drunk, missing the chance to get close to the flight attendants. After sobering up, Akira comes to the bathroom to vomit, and to his surprise, a flight attendant appears behind him. The flight attendant pats him lightly on the back, concerned about him. The gentle girl catches Akira's attention and they find an unoccupied corner to chat. Just as Akira and the flight attendant are getting closer, a crisis breaks out here again. As I mentioned earlier, there are 4 survivors here. In addition to the 3 flight attendants, there is a man whose foot has actually been bitten by a zombie. And at this moment, the zombie virus on his body starts to take effect, causing him to bite one of the flight attendants. Soon after, the zombie attack also occurs at Kenichiru's side. And although he gets rid of being attacked, the flight attendant next to him is bitten. The zombie crisis begins to spread throughout this dark mall. At the same time, Akira and the flight attendant chat about life and work, and they talk about many unhappy parts of each other's work. This is the first time Akira has talked so much with a girl. He curiously asks the girl why she decides to be a flight attendant after thinking for a while. Just when the girl is about to answer, she is suddenly pushed to the ground by the zombie, and Akira quickly heads to knock the zombie down. When he looks at the flight attendant again, he shows a frightened look. It turns out that the flight attendant has been bitten by the zombie, and she will turn into a terrifying zombie. Not long after, the flight attendant hugs Akira and then walks behind him. She tells Akira that when she patted Akira on the back just now, it reminded her of air sickness when she was a child. At that time, a flight attendant also gently patted her on the back. Since then, she has dreamed of being a flight attendant when she grows up. She is very happy to meet Akira today, and today's encounter is a great joy to her. After saying this, she pushes Akira away hard. Akira keeps running and meets Kenichiru, who is holding an 80-inch TV. Akira can't help but laugh. He doesn't expect that his friend would still remember this at such a critical moment. Afterward, they find the zombies outside the underground mall seeming to leave, so they hold the TV and escape home on the motorcycle. Today, Akira has completed 2 of the goals in his notebook. One is to associate with the flight attendants. The other is to play games on an 80-inch TV. After today's encounter, Akira thought for a long time that Kenichiru and the flight attendant put in a lot of effort to achieve their childhood dream. But what was his childhood dream? To find the answer, Akira writes down a new goal in his notebook. That is to recall his childhood dream. That brings the end of this part. Thank you for watching Unruly Family. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let's talk. Doesn't